Yeah, this video is about life insurance and dying, but if your big ass ate a little better, worked out a little harder, drank some of this tea, this NutriBurst, and took some of these vitamins, maybe you could prolong your life. Just maybe. Drop down in the comments and click the link in the description box to purchase this product so you can live a little longer. Nessa girl, you know you have not lived and you not at least grown if you have not had to chip in and help out somebody with a funeral, whether it be a fish fry, a GoFundMe, a pass the hat, a car wash, a dance off, a canned food drive. We have all been there having to help bury somebody who didn't have no damn insurance. And the question is why? As we approach this holiday season, I figured I would use the platform to help y'all fools figure out why it is y'all and y'all family members ain't got no insurance and to provide you with means to get some. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Nuts girl, happy holidays to you. And I figured since everybody is going to be around their family coming up on this Christmas season, this would be a perfect time to have an imperfect conversation. And that's the conversation around death. Mama, if you die, how is we gonna bury you? What bills is you gonna leave us? Do you even have insurance? Mama, where is the policy? How much is the policy? And you know what? While we so busy putting mama in the grave, Nessa girl, your ass might die first. Is you got any insurance? How much insurance do you have? Is it enough to cover your children and help them get off to college if your ass was to expire before your expiration date? Now, when I went to Florida State University and got my degree in economics, them people ain't teach me shit about insurance, all right? But I figured I would bring somebody onto the platform who knows everything about it so we can have a quick conversation about the business of death and life insurance, a very uncomfortable conversation that many people don't want to have, but it's very necessary. So I'm going to bring to you guys insurance broker Chris Stiff. Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for
How
having me.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How was that intro for you?
It was, it was good. It was good. I was like, whoa, okay.
Chris, I wanted to bring you on as you and I talked earlier to have a conversation about life insurance. And I said that I figured that we would break this conversation up into small, bite sized, consumable pieces for people because this isn't the most sexy of topics. You know what I'm saying? But it's very necessary. And I think that it would be smart that if this first conversation that we had about life insurance, we spoke about misconceptions about life insurance, pricing, and in your professional experience, why it is people of certain age brackets don't have insurance and why people of certain age brackets need insurance, the types of insurance, term life versus whole life, all those different things that people don't know. And I figured you being the professional, you would be the perfect person to bring on and talk about these types of things.
Perfect. Yeah, I would love to educate your viewers and everyone, your outreach, and just let them know what their options are.
Mhm,
It's funny because people don't realize that it's out there,
mhm,
and it's also a real thing. I could just die today, and
mhm,
if I did, I know my family wouldn't have the money to just come out of nowhere. They'd be starting a GoFundMe or
mhm,
something embarrassing like that. And
mhm.
nobody wants to deal with that.
Right,
So,
right, right.
I feel like it's really good. A lot of people that they think that, oh well, I've got diabetes. I know what's going to happen. They're going to deny me. No, that's not what's going to happen.
Mhm,
Um, One of the common misconceptions I want to say is that people want to go to these big box companies, the ones
mhm,
you see on television, the commercials. I'm not going to name the names,
mhm,
but they're not. Those companies will find a reason to come back and give you less coverage, make you pay more, and everything else. So fine tooth, you'll go through everything with a fine tooth comb, and before you know it, you're like, okay, this is really expensive, and what am I getting?
Mhm.
Me? That's not happening here. So I am able to help anybody out with diabetes, congestive heart failure, COPD. There's a number of things, and people. I know I just wrote a policy for someone a few months ago. Went to her house, and she had filled out a piece of paper, and I got her information, and she goes, "This is this for real?" I said, "Yeah, it's for real."
Mhm.
She goes, and so she had lupus, and she was
Mhm.
like, "I have lupus. No one's going to insure me." I said, "I don't. Let's not worry about that. Let me take a look at what we're working with. What's your medication?" I went through everything. I was able to get her day one coverage,
Wow.
meaning that she didn't have to wait 2 years to have the policy in full,
Mhm.
in force before her son got to see the full benefit of what
Mhm.
she was approved for.
Mhm.
So if she had passed 2 months after we had put this policy together, her son would see the full benefit.
Mhm.
So, and she was just like, "Oh my God, thank you so much."
Mhm.
She's like, I never thought anybody would ever, approve me. I said, "Well, here you go. This is your day."
You
So,
know, in addition to pre-existing health conditions, and that's great for the audience to know, like, in short, what Chris is saying is a lot of people shy away because they have pre-existing health conditions and they don't even bother looking into things. Chris is saying, don't worry about that. Through his experience and his network, he is able to get people with pre-existing health conditions some type of policy, some type of insurance coverage. But Chris, I know for me and a lot of people in my family, misconceptions or assumptions about cost has
mhm,
always been an issue. Times are hard right now. We're living in COVID. And, insurance, especially in minority communities, has oftentimes been one of those things where it's like, okay, I got the light bill right now and I need to eat. That's an immediate need. I can't look that far into the future and be paying all this money out of pocket monthly when I'm already struggling. So let's have a conversation about cost. I know off the rip that you can't sit here and quote, the audience a cost because the cost is going to be different for everyone based on their situation and the amount of coverage. We know that.
mhm.
But what you can tell me is it going to break the bank for people to be able to get the type of coverage that they need?
No, it's not, and this is the great thing too. The younger you are too, that's the best time to get into it.
Mhm.
And I know that ain't nobody in their 20s and 30s, and even in their early 40s, are thinking about life insurance and how they're gonna protect their family. People aren't thinking about it, but I'm gonna tell you, the sooner you get into it, the better. I wish I know a lot of people that have insured, their nieces and their kids and whatever, because they want to make sure that they have the insurance and the coverage because they're healthy and they can get that approval. So the younger you are, the better. And even if you are, in your 60s or what have you, I'm able to walk with you and try to figure out, okay, what's going to be best for you. So,
Mhm.
say if you're someone, in your 40s or 30s or 40s, we'll talk about who you want to protect and what, and go from there. But I
Mhm.
know for when it comes to older people, it's not going to break the bank as well. And I'm also going to walk with you in terms of what it's going to cost you for your arrangements for when you do pass.
Mhm.
So, um, I'm also kind of known as a funeral specialist, really. So I have a few programs that I can go through and try to figure out, okay, so this is what it's going to cost if you died this month. This is what it's going to cost in about 10 years from now. And
Mhm.
so we'll try to figure out the best way to go about it. I'm
Mhm.
not here to say, you know what, you need to get you this $50,000 policy, and it's what $155 a month. You can't afford it. I don't care. That's not what I do. I
Mhm.
try to put people in a position where it's comfortable, and I
Mhm.
have conversations with people about staying within their limitations and not overextending themselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I try to put together what's going to work for
Mhm.
them now and for their family. when they're gone.
Mhm. You know, and that's a very good conversation. You know, I look back at when my grandmother died, and you brought up something very good about what you can do within your budget. You know, my aunt and my grandmother, they didn't have any, you know, large amounts of money by any stretch of the imagination. But I remember when my grandmother passed, that my aunt did have a $10,000 policy, which was enough to get her in the ground
Mhm.
without the family worrying and struggling. And I can remember my grandma died, like whenever she died, the funeral was about $8,000 or $9,000, give or
Yep.
take. Now, granted, I don't know what they cost these days, but in short, what I'm getting from you and what I want the audience to understand is when somebody dies and then the family already don't have money, it just compounds the stress and the grief that people are going through. You can't even grieve. I have seen families torn apart over trying to get somebody in the ground. So in short, I think it's important, Funky Bunch, that you guys know, you know, all right, listen, we ain't trying to get rich here. You know what I'm saying? It would be great if we could. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And who wouldn't want to inherit 80, 90, 100, $150,000? But
Yes.
at a minimum,
Yeah.
let's get enough to get this body in the ground and get a casket and get a couple funeral programs. You know what I'm saying? And a nice chapel.
There's so much going on at the time when someone passes. I've buried 4 people in my family,
Mhm,
and every time it's like, okay, it's go time. You there's so much we have to do,
mhm,
and sitting around worrying about how you're going to pay for it all is just going to make everything worse. And
mhm,
then you're starting these GoFundMe's and everything else, and it's like, let's just be responsible for ourselves.
mhm,
We have to be. Everybody has to be responsible for themselves. Like
mhm.
even if you're young and you're like, oh, I don't need it. So you're saying you want your parents to go through their life savings to pay for
Mhm.
your arrangements, and if
Yeah.
you're older, you're saying, oh, I don't care. And I've heard this too. And whenever I hear someone that's older, 60s or whatever, oh, I don't care. I'll be gone then. You're gonna put your children through this, like you're gonna make them go through their own, savings and everything else, and it's that's just that's the tough thing. Just be responsible for
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
be responsible for yourself, and yeah.
So, you know, Chris, in this first video, I wanted to definitely just introduce the audience to you, get them familiar with you, get them familiar with some of the type of things that you can do from a high level perspective. I think maybe in this conversation, it's important that we have just a small dialogue about the difference between whole life and term life. And then maybe on our next installment, we'll dive a little deeper into the technicalities of insurance. But if you can take a moment and just give us a brief synopsis or spiel on whole life versus term life, and then you know, share with us the circumstances by which you would need either.
Okay, sure. Okay, so when you're looking at both, so we're looking at term life. Basically, what term life is, I kind of I kind of equate that, or how should I put this? I find it to be the same as renting a policy.
Mhm,
You're renting an apartment and you live there for that year and you're paying on a monthly basis. And say when that lease is up, you either sign another one or you get out. All right.
mhm,
And so what happens when you get out? Nothing. You
mhm,
don't you don't own anything. There's no ownership in it. You're just giving away the place. That's it. It's done. It wasn't yours to begin with.
mhm,
So that's what term life is like. A term policy it'll run anywhere from 10, 20 to 30 years, 30-year
mhm,
terms, like 10, 20, 30. All right. And those are great for people who are just starting a family, people who just bought a home. So
mhm,
all the breadwinners of the homes want to make sure that whomever like their loved ones are, that they're not leaving behind nothing for them, because
mhm,
they're going to have a mortgage. Your income is gone now. You
mhm,
got kids. How are the kids going to get through college? So that's what term life is.
mhm,
And whole life is, I equate that to like um, as owning a policy, like
mhm.
your ownership in a home. You're paying your mortgage and everything else. Once the mortgage is paid off, what happens?
You own the home.
You own the home, and hopefully that property value has done this.
Mhm,
So and that's also what a whole life policy does. It does
Okay.
this. It accrues cash. So you have ownership of it. Even if you do like a 10 pay where you only pay for 10 years, all right?
Mhm.
After that, you own the coverage. It's yours. So that's the thing. And also to term life, you cannot be um, you can't be covered past
Mhm.
80 years old. Sometimes there are companies that will keep insuring you past the age of 80, but the premiums are going to still keep going up like every couple of years, or there's something the coverage drops. There's always something.
And
That's
that's because past 80, you're very likely to die.
right, right. So yeah, exactly. So
Right.
you want to make sure that you have a whole life policy
Mhm.
in place for after you turn age 80, and
Mhm.
you don't want to be. Nobody wants to be looking for coverage at age 80
Right.
because then it's going to be super expensive. So
Right.
get that whole life policy now or ASAP
Mhm.
before you get there.
Mhm.
So
So, guys, like I said earlier, insurance is not the most sexy of conversations. And I know that you guys love to like to be entertained. So, I wanted to keep this small, palatable, and consumable. But we're going to definitely have more dialogues with Chris as we get into insurance literacy, guys. And I think I've started something with this. I think I may start a financial literacy, real estate literacy. I think we might, some dietary literacy. I see a little lane that Chris has helped me carve out here. But Chris, in the meantime, in between time, for people who are definitely interested right now, I am going to put all of your contact information in the description box of this video, guys, for you to be able to reach out to Chris directly and have a conversation about your particular needs and allow him to help broker the right type of insurance policy for you, your family, your needs, for Big Mama, for Grandma, get everybody on the line. Like I said, I think that the timing of this is perfect because it's the holiday season. We're all going to be around our family members. And this is the perfect time to have a very imperfect conversation. So, Chris, you can go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you. But in addition to that, all of the contact information, email, and everything you need to get in with Chris, get a quote, and get some coverage will be right in the description box of this video.
yeah, first and foremost, I'm just going to start with my phone number, and
Mhm.
then everything else will come after that. You can go ahead and list everything else, but
Okay.
I can be reached my personal line directly at phone number 305 900 4211. Once
Mhm.
again, that's 305 900 4211. Leave me a voicemail, send me a text, anything. I can get right back to you. And let's have a conversation. Please do not say, throw me a quote. I need a quote. I need a quote. I need a quote. I gotta know your situation. It's
Mhm.
not that easy. It's not a one size fits all. So
Mhm.
we'll go from there. And then also to we'll throw in my information on my Instagram and everything else and
I'll put
start
all
getting
that
this
in.
going
I'll
on.
put all that in the description box so you guys will have it. Chris, thank you so much for
Thank you.
having this uncomfortable conversation that we all need to have, and thank you so much for signing on to help educate my audience across the series of videos about insurance because this is something that is very important. I definitely appreciate you and thank you for your time.
No, thank you. That's it's been my calling to help people. I've been helping seniors, I know, since 2008. Started with my own family, and I never thought about insurance in my life. Never. It's been brought up to me before,
Mhm.
but I was like, because it's not sexy. And
Mhm.
then as I got older, I was like, okay, I think this is it. So I like helping people, and that's what I want to do.
There it is. Guys, Chris Stiff. So stick around. Don't forget, hit him up. All his information is in the description box below, and we'll talk soon. You have a good one, Chris.
You too. Thank you.